knows how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with. That's me.
Well, I won't back down.
I am not an African American.
You're Oreo cookie, white in the inside and black on the outside.
I don't have an afro, I have an Amerifro.
Talking that idiotic stuff you talk about, I will slap you.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Black at the ace of spades, but 100% American.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
Okay, welcome back. Jesse Lee Peterson is here uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. The Bible go-to guy is here. Right here, right now. And he looked very serious. He's going to preach to you today. He got on his jacket. Oh, he's taking his jacket off. Right here, right now. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jesse.
How are you?
Well, yourself?
All is well. Thanks for asking.
The Book of Judges. There's more than one judge in this book.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
The Book of Judges is the book right after Book of Joshua. And it is the period in ancient Israel where they had democracy, where there was no king ruling over them. Every man, according to Scripture, every man did which was right in his own eyes.
Wow, I didn't know we ever had a period like that.
That was ancient Israel.
They had no leaders?
They had no king.
Wow.
No ultimate federal authority to bend the knee to. Because in those days, there wasn't very many democracies anyway. There was just kings ruling over their lands, their peoples. And the ultimate will was the king. But in Israel, it was different. Every man did as he saw was right. And they had the commandments of Moses, but they had tremendous freedom. And eventually they gave all that up and chose to have a king over them. Why do men do that? Why do men go to government eventually?
And so they were running around town with no king and people doing the right thing. They had freedom all over the place.
Some doing the right thing, some doing the wrong thing.
Right, of course you're going to have that. But they had no king.
No king.
No controller.
No controller.
No black caucus.
No.
Why was it that angels were able to visit men of God in those days, whereas today you don't hear of those things happening?
And not only just men by themselves, but even to whole nation, even to a gathering of people. Like in the book of Judges, there is an angel who visits Israel and says, "Didn't I rescue you out of Egypt? Didn't I rescue you out of all the people that I gave this land to you? And look, you've turned against me." So, yeah, he sends angels. He did send angels then, even to groups of people.
And why that is not happening now?
See, that's the beef I have with God. I don't know.
Is it because people are more corrupt today than they were in those days?
It could be. I mean, there was a very strong culture of belief, at least amongst some of the Jews, and if not most of the Jews who were under Joshua's rule. It was after Joshua died that the people really started to become corrupt. After Joshua died and the elders that lived at the time of Joshua, all that generation after they died, the kids who rose up. This is one thing I want to talk about too, how people disregard their fathers.
Okay.
How men disregard their fathers.
888-775-3773. The Bible Go-To Guy is here. And we will get to your calls, folks, here in a minute. Back in a moment.
Tell that midnight rider, tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter, tell him that God's gonna cut him down.
Finish your layout here, and we're going to take some calls for you, sir.
I do wish that there was more signs and wonders from God for us today.
I was thinking people don't, as far as I can tell, including myself, people don't ask of signs from God anymore. And when I was growing up 50 years ago, it was being taught to ask of signs from God. The people in those days were asking of signs from God, and God would give them signs. But today, we are not asking God for signs. We're not even taught to ask those things. And I gave you some examples last week of me asking God to show me some signs that he did it.
Yes.
But that was because I was being taught to do that, and it's not being taught anymore.
And you were being taught how to correctly do it.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? You know, hearing this about asking for signs and this communication with God just reminded me of when I was growing up, and the older people, they taught us to do the same thing because they would testify in church. Or I could hear my grandfather and grandmother talk about how they asked for signs and God would show them. And so growing up hearing that, I was convinced that if I asked, he would do the same thing, and it did happen. But I forgotten about to ask for those things.
And the key point I wanted to make is that because of your love for your grandfather, grandmother, your elders of your church, because the love and respect you had for them, you believed their report.
Yes.
And so you asked for a sign from God.
Yeah.
Knowing that there was one, that there is one, he lives, and he will fulfill your request as you heard the older people say.
Yeah.
And the Bible is like a book of old folks.
Yeah.
Writing down their experiences and what they went through and how God answered their requests and how God reproved them when they went astray.
Yeah, it's very nice to hear this too, because you just reminded me of what it was like and the relationship that the people had with God while growing up.
And with their own parents. Because if you don't respect your father, you're not going to respect the words of historians.
Because when you don't respect them, they're not believable. So if they do tell you things, you don't take it to heart anyway.
Even if it's true.
Yeah, even if it's true.
This has been the Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show, produced by Bond Action. To access the podcast of this show, visit us on the web at bondaction.org.